All right, y'all, buckle up for this one. We're going to dive right into it. Have you ever heard of those rags to riches, started from the bottom, 0 to 100 million? You know, those stories. Like Steve Jobs, how he talked about in college, he went from sleeping on his friend's couch and bumming off of language classes to be successful. And my favorite, Steve Harvey, even he talked about how he slept in his car for years before he became a successful comedian. And even my boy Drake, who always talk about the visions he painted, all of this he painted it, and he turned his birthday into a lifestyle. You ever wonder how those people got there? You ever wonder how those people change their environment? And I don't necessarily mean their outside environment. When you decide to change your environment, like I know people say, you got to move out the hood and you got to get around some different people. And sometimes when you do that, you get around these people and you like, these ain't my people. I don't know them. Like I don't want to build no relationship with people that I don't even know. But the true environment that you need to change is not your external environment. I think a lot of people get that confused because they think that, oh, you need to just get picked out the hood and get placed in the suburbs and that's going to solve all your problems. Absolutely not, because if you're a thief in the hood, you're going to move to the suburbs and you're going to find some thieving friends and y'all going to go thieving together. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you are who you are. But when you make a true decision that you want to change your external environment, you're going to have to change your internal environment first. So we're going to talk about that. All right, so first, let's start by defining what the external environment is, because I know a lot of you are probably wondering, what's the difference between the two? So your external environment is everything that is outside of your body, right? So it's the car you drive, it's where you live, it's your family, it's your friends, it's the job that you go to every day. It's everything that has manifested in your life. It's everything that has showed up in your life, the people who have showed up out of nowhere, the opportunities that have showed up. And the only way to create that external environment is to think about those things internally. There's things inside of you internally, your internal environment, which are your hopes and your dreams, your visions, your imagination, your desires, the things you think about every single day on a constant basis. That is what shapes your internal environment. And I think what people fail to realize is that nothing happens on the outside without happening on the inside first. All right, so before we can get to the nice cars, before we can get to the foreign vacations and the $1 million bank accounts, if you knew how to get to that point already, I can guarantee you would already be there. You probably wouldn't be watching this video. But since you're not there, what are the things that are stopping you from getting there? So we're going to talk about 3 different things. We're going to talk about your memories, we're going to talk about your thoughts and your feelings, and we're going to talk about your habits and behaviors, because those things are what shape your outside environment. So let's start with your memories. Your memories shape who you think that you are. It's the starting point of your internal environment. It's everything that goes on inside of your mind that ultimately creates your external environment. So this is the relationships with the people that you know. It's the variety of things that you own and are familiar with, like that vase that is at your grandmother's house. And my grandmother used to always have those strawberry and cream candies. Oh my God, if I have one of them right now, it's going to take me back to when I was 5 years old. The places that you have visited, those family vacations. Every year we would go to San Antonio, year after year after year after year, till we got to the point where it's like, Mom, we don't have to do a vacation this year if we're going to go to San Antonio, okay? Because we know what that's like. But the places that you've lived in different times of your life, maybe you lived in one house growing up, or maybe you kind of bounced around, and the countless experiences that you just remember throughout the years. That is what shapes your memories. So growing up, I always felt different. If y'all watched the failure video, y'all know I was always a hustlepreneur throughout school. I remember in high school we moved to Missouri City, which was considered a suburb in Houston, and that change of environment externally made me want to go to college. It didn't necessarily change my life entirely, but it changed my thinking, and it got me thinking, okay, well, I want to go to college because everybody else around me was going to college and people were talking about college. And then when I went to college, I would say college just got me to thinking on a business professional path. But after college is when my life really began to change, because I was like, is this it? Like, is okay, no more school. Now I gotta be an adult. And I began working corporate, and I knew immediately that corporate was not for me. My first job, I was a mail clerk, and I literally cried maybe the first 3 months that I was at my job, because I just knew, like, I don't want to go to work in a box. So I got to thinking internally. My internal wheels started to get into motion. What can I do? And immediately I thought, I got to get out of here. I got to get out of Houston. So when I got fired, January 2012, when I got fired, I moved to Miami. Miami is what changed my external environment forever. It made me have the desires internally to want the finer things in life. Because granted, there's nothing wrong with the finer things in life. There's nothing wrong with, wanting to be able to live the life however it is that you want to live it. You just got to be willing to work for it. So when I left Miami, because Miami just wasn't for me, I remember coming home and I remember praying to God, how can I still be able to live this lifestyle without having to be at the bottom of it, And that was the start of when my life changed. I remember the first book that I read was by Anthony Robbins, and it was called Unlimited Power. And in that book, he talked about how you can use other people and their experiences and read and research and pretty much learn their habits and behaviors and apply them to your life. And that's how you begin to get your life to change. That's how, and just to go back to my original point, that internal environment. So I began to start seeking things in the outside world that could change how I felt on the inside. Growing up and not always having money, or for me personally, we kind of bounced around a little bit, and I wanted to find some stability. I wanted to find how I can create my own path. And that's where it all began, to be quite honest. I started reading books. I started researching. Y'all know I created my first app back then. That was the defining moment that changed my internal environment. So after I began to read books and to get more into books, that's what changed my thoughts and my feelings, which brings me to my second point. How your thoughts and your feelings shape how you look at the world, right? So I remember stumbling upon The Secret. And honestly, every self-help book that I've read since then is pretty much the same. It tells you to change your thoughts and change what you're thinking. It will give you a different feeling or emotion, and then that's how you change your outside world. So I just gave you like Barnes and Noble in a nutshell. And it's true. The way that you think about things shape your life as well. So let's talk about what have you been thinking? What are your thoughts every single day? What problems are you facing in your daily life? And what do you think about them? Your thoughts instantly create a feeling. However you think about a problem creates your life, pretty much. So if you look at your problems, or if you look at the glass as half empty, your life is going to be half empty. But if you look at your problems and the glass is half full, then your life will be more full. Maybe, have you ever thought about this? Maybe you think about your problem so much because it was your thinking that created the problem in the first place. Thinking about your problems in a negative way makes you feel negatively. Your troubles begin to feel more real because you think about them so much that they become real. They become more real, if that makes any sense. So think about it like a hamster in a wheel, right? So the more you think about bills, the more you're going to feel bad. And the more bills you going to have. Come on, Destiny's Child. You know, it's an ongoing cycle until you disrupt it. You have to really disrupt your thinking and the way you feel about your thinking to change your life. Now, y'all know I done had a couple jobs in my day. And truthfully, internally, I know I'm a good worker, but I am a horrible employee. I don't like being told what to do. I don't like having to clock in. I don't like having to wait for a check that's this big. You know, I really internally am an entrepreneur at heart. In my soul, I know that it is my life's purpose to be an entrepreneur. And so just thinking back over my life and what I thought. So I thought that I needed to go to college, and I thought that after I get my degree, that I needed to get a job in corporate, preferably in the oil and gas industry. And honestly, I have learned over the years that my thoughts are so powerful because, as soon as I graduated, I had a job. As soon as I knew that I didn't want to be there anymore, I got fired. Even with moving to Atlanta. So I currently live in Atlanta, and this is after, I've worked corporate for 3 or 4 years. And when I came here, I wanted to get a quick job of something that gave me flexibility. So I started working in the restaurant industry. And I knew immediately, like my thoughts told me, this is not going to be a permanent thing. This is definitely going to be temporary. And so I remember, I moved out here in October of 2015, and immediately got a job. I knew that when I moved here, I had to do something quick to get some money. So within a week, I had a job already, because I never thought for 1 second that I'm gonna be a bum and I'm gonna just go out there and live this horrible life. Like literally, I thought my thoughts, and I felt good about it. I felt good about moving to Miami. I felt good about moving to Atlanta. And so my first job was at Papado, and Papado got some good food. But when you know in your mind, in your internal environment, what you're capable of, your thoughts will never let you settle for what your environment is showing you. So, I made the little money that I needed to make, and as soon as I started thinking that it was over for me, I got fired. I used to quit a lot. Now I just get fired. But see, the thing about it is that when it's time for you to move and you don't move, God will push you. When your thoughts are not aligned with who you truly are and who you truly think yourself to be, God will push you. God will make you real uncomfortable. And then it's time to start thinking some new thoughts, because your thoughts are so powerful. You ever I remember, times when I was sad and I was depressed, and I allowed myself to feel bad. I allowed myself to feel depressed, because being depressed is a true feeling. But it starts with your thoughts, because things are not going right. So you start thinking all these negative things that put you in a state of depression. But I knew that depression wasn't my story wasn't my life. I wasn't finna stay in depression, So how I got out of it is I started thinking better things. Like, what can I do? What can I do to change? And that's what got me to Atlanta. That's what got me to the point that I'm at now. Knowing that I'm tired of settling for a job when I know I don't want a job. I want a career. I want a business. So what have you been thinking about in your current situation that's got you to a point where are you hating your life? Why? What are you thinking about? Are you behind on your bills? Why? What are you thinking about? How do you feel about your life right now? Once you start thinking about those things, the answers will begin to come to you. And my best advice is don't ignore it. Don't ignore those feelings. Don't ignore those thoughts. Don't ignore those answers. If you're getting uncomfortable, move. All right, y'all. I am glad that you made it to the third and final part of shaping your internal environment. I have to roll up my sleeves on this one. All right, so now we're going to talk about your habits and your behaviors and how that inevitably affects your environment. So your habits are the way that you think, act, and feel at any given time. It's your immediate reaction when you see a homeless person on the street, or when somebody rubs you the wrong way, or when you get a bill in the mail, the way that you feel about it. You have formed a habit. And once you continually feel that way, continually act the same way, continually think a certain way about a particular any given situation, that forms your behavior. So if somebody rubs you the wrong way and you immediately go off every single time somebody rubs you the wrong way, well then you have created a behavior of snapping. If anybody triggers a certain emotion or a thought or a feeling in you, and you have tied it to, you have created a habit of doing things a certain way, it becomes your behavior. And let me tell you, your behavior becomes your personality. So now people are going to think, oh, well, you just got a bad attitude because, I didn't see what the big deal was, or whatever the case may be. So you got to think, what are your habits? What are you used to doing? What's your immediate reaction? Like I said, your habits create your behavior. Your behavior creates your personality. Your personality creates your personal reality. So we're going to talk a little bit more about your habits. So you are the creator of this constant loop of habits, behavior, personality. You are the creator of the loop, so therefore you can change the loop. I know something about me, I was using myself in that example, is that, I've created a habit of when I feel like somebody is talking down to me, I go off. Period. I go off. And that's something that I want to change within me, because maybe they didn't mean it that way. Maybe they didn't mean it that way, or maybe I took it the wrong way. I've noticed that, just over my life, over the time of my life, that has been a hindrance for me, is just going off, because now people will label me as having a bad attitude when I'm really just passionate, right? I'm really just passionate about who I am. So what is it in your life that you have made a habit? Not your personality, not who you think you are, not who other people think you are. What is the habit that you know that you do immediately and I'm going to talk about something that's more problematic, not the thing that you need to work on, take it all the way back and take responsibility for the habit that you created that keeps constantly creating these same types of situations. It takes a lot of work to find that habit and then to change that habit. But you have to be honest with yourself, and you have to see what it is that's hindering you. That from your growth. At the end of the day, of course you want to say, I don't care what nobody think about me. I'm gonna be me. I'm gonna do me. Yeah, but if doing you is hurting you, it's time for a change. It's time to grow up. It's time to, let go of those habits and create some new ones. I am so happy that you made it to the last and final part of this video. Just to do a brief recap of what we have discussed in our second video in my video series, The Fear of Success, What You're Really Afraid of and How to Conquer It, is your internal environment. A lot of people think that in order to get the things on the outside, that they need to do all of these crazy things, but at the end of the day, your outside reflects what's going on in the inside. So we talked about your memories, how your past memories, the people you've known, have shaped who you are. And then we moved on to your thoughts and your feelings, and how your thoughts and your feelings have really created the outside world that you know it to be. And then last but not least, we talked about how your habits and behavior have created who you really are, your personality. And now we're going to talk about how to conquer your environment, the real tried and true ways to conquer your environment. And you know, it's 3 of them. The 3 ways to conquer your environment is to see it, to understand it, and then to release it. So what do I mean by see it? I want you to see things the way that they are. Not that you want them to be, not that you try to cover up or dust under the rug. See the situations that you created. See the personality that you've created. See the memories that have gotten you to the place that you are right now, that you're holding on to, and your thoughts and the way that you feel about them. See everything the way that it is and be honest. Listen, you can fool anybody in this world, but the easiest person to fool is yourself. Don't fool yourself. Don't play yourself. See your true self for who you are in this particular moment. Then I want you to understand it. I want you to understand why you are that way. Why are you that way? Understand it. Embrace it. Accept it. Say, I was that way because such and such this person told me that I would never be able to do this. I'm that way because I failed at this particular event. Or I'm that, take ownership of it. This is what you have to take ownership of who you are. And you have to understand why you keep seeing the same environment that you constantly get, the people that you keep meeting, the places that understand it, okay? And then once you understand what got you to that point, release it. Release it into the universe. Let it go. If it don't apply, let it fly. Like, seriously, release it, because it serves you no purpose. Those negative thoughts that you have from when you was 5 years old and the little boy knocked something out your hand. I'm making up something, but at the end of the day, I hope you get my drift. Like, you have to release those feelings, because at the end of the day, the only time that matters is now. The only thing that matters is what you do from this point forward. So once you see how you are and you understand the reason why you are that way and you release it, now that allows God, that allows the universe, that allows whatever you want to call it, to replace it with something else, that you can move forward, internally, so you can begin to manifest different things in your life. Just because you've been that way for 20, 30, 40 years doesn't mean you're stuck being that way, okay? You can definitely change your life into whatever it is that you want it to be, but you have to release the old. You got to throw out the old and start with the new. And once you are able to release it and you can replace it, and it's replaced with something else, then I don't want to go back to that. It's already things that you've done that to in your life. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you can think about anything that you used to be. I used to be that way. Well, what did you do? You let it go and you changed it into something else. So now it's time to do that. Now it's time to get over that fear of being successful, so it can start manifesting into your external environment, so you can start seeing the things that you want in your external environment, in your internal environment. You know, it's a constant cycle, y'all. All right, y'all already know how this go. I want to keep in contact with y'all. I want y'all to follow me on my journey, and I want to follow y'all on y'all journey as well. So subscribe to the YouTube channel. Subscribe. You know, don't just watch it. Subscribe. You know, so you can get the next stuff that I'm gonna be doing. You want to see that? And then I want y'all to follow me on social media: Instagram, Periscope, Snapchat, Twitter. Everything is Saydreya. Saydreya. Everything. My Facebook is Andreya McPherson. That's Andreya. McPherson. Find me on Facebook. I do a lot of live videos on Facebook that kind of talks about just different ways that we can get out our own way, because we gotta thrive. I gotta look out for y'all. You gotta look out for me. We gotta make it in this world. Also, my manual, my e-guide, 4 ways to get shit done, is on saydreya.com. And I just thank you. I thank you for taking the time to get to this point, watching the video, supporting the dream, supporting the vision, and I hope to see y'all at the top.